ISP database. LJ then identified Williams in a lineup over a year after the original crime, and Williams was charged with numerous offenses arising from the 2000 incident. He was tried before a judge in a non-jury trial. At the trial, ISP forensic biologist Sandra Lombados was allowed to testify as an expert witness, and she based her opinion regarding the match between the ISP profile and the Cellmark profile in part on the Cellmark reports, but nobody from Cellmark testified at Williams' trial. The judge rejected Williams' Confrontation Clause challenge to the use of the Cellmark report without the Cellmark personnel testifying. Williams was convicted on several counts, and his convictions were affirmed in the Illinois Appellate and Supreme Court. The Confrontation Clause of the Sixth Amendment provides that in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to be confronted with the witnesses against him. In 2004, the Supreme Court handed down a landmark Confrontation Clause case, Crawford versus Washington. In Crawford, the court reasoned that for so-called testimonial materials such as a police interrogation, if the person who created the out-of-court statement, the so-called declarant, did not testify at the defendant's criminal trial, that testimonial material could be used against the defendant only if the out-of-court witness, the declarant, was unavailable and the defendant had had a prior opportunity to cross-examine him, for example, at a preliminary hearing. And testimonial for these purposes means something developed for the primary purpose of being used in criminal litigation. In 2009, the Supreme Court extended the Crawford rationale to cover forensic reports, a cocaine analysis in the case Melendez-Diaz versus Massachusetts. And then in 2010, in Bull Cumming versus New Mexico, the court held that such materials could not be presented through the use of a substitute witness in Bull Cumming, another member of the lab other than the one who had actually done the testing. In the Williams oral argument, Williams will argue that like the report that identified cocaine in Melendez-Diaz, and like the blood alcohol report in Bull Cumming, the Cellmark DNA report was testimonial. It was prepared at the behest of the police in anticipation of a criminal prosecution. Therefore, Williams will argue, the analysts who prepared the report at Cellmark were witnesses against him for Confrontation Clause purposes. In other words, they should have been required to testify about the report. They should have been available.